All right, so here's the next product in the car washing package that you'll need to know how to use and become familiar with, and that is the drying aid. And I've gotten lots of questions when I released the car package. What happened to Ammo Hydrate? What about ECH2O? What about CarPro? Why do you have two different drying aids for the car? What the heck's going on here? And so I figured I'd explain myself. So first, ECH2O I wouldn't use with anything other than a silicon dioxide type coating or sealant if you're using some hybrid sealant of some sort. So I wouldn't use this unless you're doing that. This includes silicon dioxide. I may include this in the coating package as I work my way down the list of different products. But that's the reason why we wouldn't use that drying aid. You don't want to use it with Culinite or wax or sealant, or you don't want to use it with the ammo system. You want to use that exclusively with titanium dioxide, silicon dioxide. At least that would be my recommendation, because it does include or have some silicon dioxide. So now, the bigger question is, why Optimum Car Wax versus Ammo Hydrate? There are pros and cons to both. I actually think that hydrate's a lot easier to deal with because you don't have to worry about streaking. You spray it on the wet car or the blown off car with just a little bit of water left over, and you're able to use this to help dry it, and it sort of evaporates or hydrates the paint. And so this product is still, I think, extremely viable. I've been preferring using and putting an extra layer of wax on the car. So in thinking about it, and I'm guessing there's some wax in here as well, but the look of these two, I prefer the Optimum Car Wax. Now, this does take a bit more effort. It's not as easy to deal with. You always want to make sure you shake it up. But this I'm including with the car package. You'll have to go buy ammo anyway. I talked to Larry. The way his company's legally structured, he would have to have different insurance coverages and things like that if he became a wholesaler, if he sold wholesale to other companies. So he protects his brand really well and says, I just can't. I can't make an exception, because then I'd be messing everybody else up that wants to buy this stuff wholesale as well. And so he's just keeping his product direct only. And so we may end up setting up some sort of code for you to buy the product. Again, I'm not interested in really a discount code, because I don't discount my stuff, so why would I ask him to discount his? It doesn't make any sense. I think it's a good value. This is expensive. It's a few dollars more than this. What is this? $16, $17, I think. This is $25. But this is my original bottle, and I still have this much. I've had it for a year or so now. And so the reason, again, I selected this is I prefer the look at the end, so it requires a little more work to get off. We're going to go over how it works here in a second, but that's why I'm using that. So the reason for having two different drying aids is this, and this is just my rationale. There's no science behind this. This is just my experience. I tend to want to use this product, one, because it's so good. I don't like the look of this as much as I like the look of Car Wax, but this is a fantastic drying aid as well. Some people may decide to, what you may decide to do is use this every other wash and put Car Wax on every other wash. But I use this on the door jambs. The reason being is the door jambs, the area under the hood, the areas on the rear deck or the trunk, the drainage areas there, they never get completely clean, so there's always dirt there. And I find that I don't really get a whole heck of a lot of lubrication with car wax, and so I prefer to have this as my drying aid for the door jambs and the other areas. Plus, using car wax, getting it on little plastic parts in the interior when you're spraying off the door jambs, it just doesn't do as well. This you can get on anything, and you really don't even notice. Also, glass, things like that. And so that's my thought process there, and why I use the two different drying aids. So I'm going to go blow off the car, and then I'll come back to you, and we'll apply the car wax to the paint. All right, so this is stolen from my friend Larry Cosilla. If it's a chemical, always shake it up. And so what we'll do here is, again, I just blew off the car, and now we're going to apply a coat of wax. This is spray wax. Since my car is nice and corrected, the paint looks good, I want to make sure that there's nothing in the towel. These really soft pile, these edgeless towels, they will pick up some stuff. I tend to try to wash them by themselves so that you don't end up with issues, but they will grab lots of other things. But I think the result you get from them is worth the little bit of extra work you got to do. So with this Optimum Car Wax, I think you want to make sure that you don't cover an entire area. You'll get all kinds of streaking. It'll dry on you. It just doesn't turn out well. And actually, I just used a little bit too much right there. Let's spread it around a little bit. It's so humid out. We'll need another towel. And so again, the main reason why I like using this stuff is the look I get afterwards. I really feel like I'm getting a solid layer of additional wax on the car. You can see it. You can almost feel it. It just looks, the depth you get from this is really great. And so that's why I've transitioned to using this. And you want to use it much more sparingly than you would maybe even other drying aids. And you want to spray it on really one panel at a time so you don't end up with wax streaks all over the place. So that's the one tricky part of this where Ammo Hydrate wins, in that it's a little easier to apply, but I think that the end result of this stuff is worth it. So I always try to do the biggest, most visible panels first. And so I just deionized the car. So, I mean, I guess theoretically I shouldn't even really need a drying aid. I could just let the car dry. And in the case of the S2000, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But on most of my cars, you know, again, I'm not aggressively washing it. And so a lot of times this step will get the final cleaning done, bugs and things that build up on the paint. I find that my last step, I'll get more time out of my last step if I use a drying aid and go through the process of drying the car rather than letting it just sit and dry on its own. So if you aren't familiar, this car has Colinite, actually has Jescar Powerlock Plus polymer sealant, topped with 2 coats of Colinite, and then I've either used Ammo Hydrate or this Optimum Spray Wax, or Optimum Car Wax, I guess you should call it, on it ever since. The other thing to note is I will have a tendency to swap out towels a little more often with the spray wax than I would, say, Hydrate. Hydrate tends to do better when the towel is a little damp. In fact, many people actually soak the towel in water and wring it out. So, for instance, and you guys probably can't see this on camera, but there's a little bug, there's some bug guts left over. So now I can see that the car is clean. I can put my spray wax on there and then wipe the rest of that bug residue off, you know, keeping the car contaminant, you know, much more contaminant free. And so that's why I like to dry the car. I can go back and do all of my last little steps to get, like the headlights will end up with a lot of bugs left over on them. So this is my way that if I did need to use a little bit of pressure to get that extra little bit of bug junk off, I can do it without worrying about scratching, because I've gotten all the sand and dirt and heavy stuff off the paint. And just that little bit of lubrication from the spray wax will help me get those parts off. All right, so I'm gonna go around the rest of the car. We'll dry dry the roof and everything else, and I'll come back to you when it's time to do the door jambs here. All right, so here's an area that is not super clean, but I still like to dry. And so this is where Showroom Shine comes in handy. I like to add a little bit of lubrication to the area. The other nice thing about Showroom Shine is I'm going to get a little bit on the paint surrounding the area, and so I can easily come back around. So before my towels get dirty, I'll come around after spraying it, and I'll hit all the surrounding areas that were getting hit by the overspray. Now I haven't done the windows yet, so the windows, even though I got some spray on them, won't matter all that much, because it won't matter at all, because I'm going to come back and clean those. And so now I take my couple of towels and just go through the process of cleaning up these areas. So once again, there's no real science behind my decision. I'll be honest with you, some of it is I just really like this product. I like the way it has a really unique smell to it that I really like. Some people may not. But it's a great product, and I don't like using it on the paint as much. Some people use it on the windows. I don't like using it on the windows. And this is all personal preference, but I'd urge you to test it out and try using it on different spots of the car. Just same thing with the microfiber towels. Even though I've chosen to use these towels for this particular application, you might prefer to use them elsewhere. The key is that all the towels that you ever get from me, they're all good. Whether you use them exactly identically as I do, doesn't matter as much as I think just the peace of mind I'm going to give you that all the towels we have are good towels. They all have their pros and cons, and I use them for a certain application. I know these minks people have used for many more things than just the jams like I do. So again, notice the towel's picking up some dirt here. And so I just feel like Showroom Shine does a little bit better job with that dirt. Let's grab a fresh towel, close this, and wipe the surrounding areas. For whatever reason, there's water that always runs out of this edge here. We come back around at the very end and clean that up. Let's get our doors cleaned up. So I'll take the Showroom Shine, I'll come around on the edge, I'll get in here and up in there. So again, the advantage is, when you get it on some of this plastics, you'll have some overspray on there. It doesn't matter as much because it doesn't leave a residue or like any white spots or anything like that. Cleaning up these areas inside the door jambs can get a lot dirtier, and I just like the Showroom Shine. I like using it in here. Another thing that you could consider using would be a waterless wash. You could use the Optimum Waterless Wash up in your door jambs as well. It's another thing I've considered, but I think this does the job and does it well. Up under here is one of those spots, if you do it every time, it'll stay clean. All right, so there's our drying aid process between using Kenotek Showroom Shine and hitting up the surface of the paint. The car just looks fantastic. So using this with a combination of Menzerna Power Lock and Cullinan 845 are still my preferred methods. Unless you have like the S2000, you just didn't have a choice, or something that I'm not going to wash as much, like my truck. or a coating might make more sense, but this combination still looks fantastic. Putting a spray wax on top of a whatever sort of synthetic wax the 845 is, it's just a killer combo. So anyway, thanks for considering me. Thanks for watching this stuff. Of course, all of these products are available in the store. I have cards in the video and then links at the end, links in the description, so you can go. I'm going to continue to evolve this process, continue to share the products that I'm using in the garage, and then continue to offer them in one-step, simple solutions. So I'll keep doing that for you and for me and for everybody. I guess the good of the whatever little subset of the world that I'm a part of. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos on these products. Because what happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.
Dialed in.